Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on, good question, March 8th, 2025 at approximately 9 p.m. PST. Now, I've made it my life's journey to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spirit guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I use to guide virtually every decision I make. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have literally worked for thousands of other people over the years with varying degrees of success depending on their own personal efforts. Now, today we are literally looking at how to reclaim power over your own life. Now, to help facilitate this, we have Storm in the background, making sure tech runs as well as we can get it to. Of course, that's a challenge, but hats off to Storm for that one. He is also the one that really keeps an eye on making sure problem children don't arrive. Okay, and if they do, even if you come in by a different name, I'll tell you, the man's a wizard in a lot of ways. He'll spot you if you're a problem trying to hide and sneak back in. You're way better off just coming in and saying, this is who I am. Yes, I screwed up in the past. I'm not intending on it again. Okay, until you cause a problem, you're fine. If you cause a problem, well, you're gone. You can still listen. But it's not me you got to deal with. I simply cut Storm loose and said, look, make sure this doesn't happen, please. And thus far, he's been doing really well. Now, in the room, we also have LA Moon, who helps keep the conversation going quite often and is responsible. And I didn't ask her to do it, but she really puts a lot of effort into making certain that I actually get something to eat. Now, she certainly doesn't control my coffee consumption, but this is only the tail end of my thought today, so I'm good. Nathan, this is our third moderator, and he is in, as usual, popping around. I trust where you had to work half shift tonight. Oh, so you're actually in the room. How nice. Well, welcome aboard, Nathan. Now, Christine, you are in with the gold. How you doing, Christine? Glad you could join us. Tonight, we literally are going to change everybody's life that desires it to change. So if you haven't done so already, get yourself a pad of paper and get set. Get set to take notes if you have to. Yeah, LA goes, I can barely control my own coffee consumption. I ran into a problem with Gira a while ago with my fiance. I told her I was running low on coffee, and she goes, uh-oh, how bad is it? I said, I only got about 6 months supply left. But first thing we do to change your life, take a look in the mirror. Okay, now I avoid looking in the mirror as much as I can, but sitting in front of the computer here, I have to look at myself regularly. But the first thing you do is ask yourself, are you personally happy with the way your life is? Okay, not is anybody else happy? Okay, uh-oh. Eating Sour Patch Kids watermelon. Uh-oh. See, I'm not overly impressed with the sour candies anymore. Mind you, I never really was. But the first thing you do to reclaim power over your own life is ask yourself this. Are you happy with your life path? Now, I'm going to walk you through some of what I'm doing because it's going to have a direct bearing on what comes up next. Okay, the biggest thing from my standpoint is this. If you're content, you're probably not looking for a new way of looking at the world. The fact you're here, there's no doubt you're looking for different answers. So the first thing you ask is, am I content? Well, I'll tell you, I've had the bottom knocked out of my world. Okay, and I simply looked in the mirror this morning, really intently this morning, and went, I'm no longer content at all. Okay, I like the stream. Yes, I'm carrying on with the live stream and with the free newsletter, which, by the way, effective today, has been upgraded to a free magazine. The only difference I ever found in a magazine, between a magazine and a newsletter, is a magazine has a cover and an index. A newsletter does not. So we are going to cover part of that, but here's what you do. You go, number one, am I content? If the answer is no, then this becomes, and I strongly recommend it becomes, your mantra for the day and for the life. I am worth it. These 4 words in combination are the 4 most powerful words I've ever found in any language. And where it comes to enhancing self-esteem, self-worth, self-motivation, you get the idea. Yeah, maybe I can. You know, Christine, I never really understood the purpose of making decaffeinated coffee. I really didn't. I've tried decaf. It doesn't have the same flavor. It's kind of like sugar-free pop. But I started off with that. Then, once you got that, now you start taking a look at your world. What are you not content with? Quite often, it is far easier to identify what you're not content with than what you are. Okay, if you spot something you're content with, yeah, like no unleaded for me, thanks. Yeah, I don't bother with the unleaded. But take a look at it, and if you like something about the way your life is, leave it alone. If you're happy, leave it as is. If you're not, it's time to start changing things one step at a time. Because once you eliminate all the things that are negative that you're not content with, or you redirect the energy on them, all you're left with is a life you are content with. And I don't know about you, but from my standpoint, if I'm content, I'm a whole lot more relaxed. Now, when I take a look up here, where is it? April. Okay. Going to walk you through something here, because the Positive Perspectives magazine, okay, is free. If you go to the top of the chat room, you'll find a link to buy me a coffee. Okay, buymeacoffee.com/innervoicej. Every book that I've written, every consulting access that you're looking for, whether it's business or private, is all at the top. I'll quite readily turn the lights on for you. Okay, and I have been paid in excess of $2,600 an hour. I am offering, on what I do now is I do this work at literally only $80 an hour, $20 for 15 minutes, and that's 20 Canadian. And rest assured, that value, I don't understand how they manage to change the value of money. Because to me, 1 man hour is still a man hour. Now, because we've revamped the entirety of Positive Perspectives, and for that matter, Positive Perceptions, we've been doing a revamp on the whole thing. Okay, to get on a track that is replicatable by virtually anybody. You're still going to have to do the work. So right off the bat, we've got the title, we've got the index, you can get a look at those. But some of the regular columns or regular articles that we're putting into it we're going to cover karmic law and explain exactly how that is. Funny thing is, you learn how to use karmic law. You learn how to work with it. And all of a sudden, you're in good shape over here. And Eternity Eternal, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You are actually in with the silver tonight. So when you follow karmic law, as in, be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Over the next number of months, 3 to be exact, I'll be covering each of those topics in a little more detail in the magazine. Okay, now, I'm actually walking through this one page at a time, so I know what I'm dealing with. Then, of course, we do have the message there. Under paranormal, okay, we are going to be going into, because you desire your life to be in order. First thing you got to look at is you. But, I kid you not, the way your house is laid out, the way your business is set out, has a direct bearing on how you're going to be feeling. Now, there's an old saying that goes, the state of your home is a reflection of the state of your mind. Now, I'll tell you, if that were always the case, well, it actually was. But if you buy into that axiom, then it stands to reason that the state of the home, that the state of your mind, is also a reflection on the state of your home. Okay. Correction. State of your home is also a reflection of the state of your mind. So, which is easier to correct? The way your house looks or the way your mind thinks? I'm telling you, my mind is kind of like a bag of cats that's been batted around for a while. You know, it goes in every direction functionally possible. So I've got it broken down in positive perspectives, the different component parts of your house as it relates to the body. Okay, and this is a question of organizing things in a functional fashion. So we take a look at the way it's your office, wherever you're working on your finances, wherever you do your planning. That's the brain of your house. If it is cluttered and disorganized, it's not going to work well. Take a look at any filing system you like. If it's not organized, it's a shambles trying to work through it. Now, the heart of a home is 3 chambers built in the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. And I break those down into a lot more detail, a lot more specifics. The bowels, that's your bathroom and your laundry room. And then, of course, you got the arteries, which are your hallways, and your digestion, which is done in the bedroom. All of these things are covered. And the reason I'm doing it that way is because everything is interconnected. Everything affects everything else in your life, including the people around you. Okay, now, the other thing you got to understand now, and let's be clear, you don't have to believe what I'm telling you. Do your own research. But I've been asked a number of times why I don't deal with Reiki masters as far as my healing goes. Well, here's the reason. And bear in mind, there are chakras which I will be looking at in the house as well. Because you do have energy lines, you do have energy conduits. Okay, where are we here? Short answer, LA. Answer is absolutely yes. You can mitigate it to a degree. Okay, but if your family's personal space is a mess, and we'll just chalk it up this way because most people operate this way. Okay, if you call their personal space the bedroom, Okay, the rest of it's common areas. If their personal space is a mess, it's kind of like having a toothache. It's going to affect the energy flow in the rest of the house. So yeah, absolutely sit down with them, and if at all possible, and rest assured, I'm having my own problems on this one. Lizzie, how we doing? Glad you could join us. You are actually in with the bronze. It's imperative you sit down in order to bring your house into full swing. Sit down with the other family members and talk to them about the flow of energy. Again, they don't have to believe it. You know that old axiom, what you can't see can't hurt you. Well, I will tell you, I don't think many people can see gravity. Okay, and I know a staggering number of people that have been hit from behind by a car. They never saw it coming. I'll tell you, it screwed up the circulation. Okay, but when I take a look at it, where are we? Bring that up. Okay, now, Reiki Masters, the average one uses seven chakras. The really good ones use 9 major chakras. Well, I've got a list here coming out in April, and I'm working on the book for it on an enhanced level. I work with 50 major chakras in the body. Okay. This is why I don't go to a Reiki master. Okay. I'm not perfect. I'm not the best of the best. Okay. But these are the tools I work with. This is why I know they work. Okay. Then we have this other neat little section. I came across some information from other people. I have no idea who they came from. Okay. But these are just thoughts on how to cope with what's going on in your life. Okay. And I'm going into each one at a time. Okay. Again, these will be regular additions to the magazine, like regular entries, if you will. Then I've got I've got universal numerology listed here, running the numbers 1 to 12. And we'll go through that over the next little while. But since I'm only doing one number per month, I'm talking about having all of this laid out for the next year already. And if you've got something that you'd like to add to it, understand I do not pay, like, because I don't charge for the magazine. I also am not paying for it. Okay. But this is just this is the backbone of how I have decided I'm changing my life. I'm not content with much of the way it is. I certainly am not content with my essentially ineffective method of dealing with people. It's getting worse, in case you hadn't noticed. Now, I'm no doomsayer. Okay. But I can tell you the path that we're currently on, this world is in serious trouble. Now, where are we here? There we go. I've had acupuncture and had one on my third eye and had a paranormal experience in the room. Bonus. Absolutely bonus there, Lizzie. You know, the nice part about it is if you're going to an acupuncturist that knows what they're doing, in my experience, Chinese trained, not necessarily a Chinese acupuncturist, but a Chinese trained acupuncturist they are the best trained to handle it. I'm going to show you something that I've got myself. No, not that. Where'd it go? There. Show to a guy, to an acupuncturist. This neat little tool. This is This is an electric one. Okay. I doubt you can see a spark off it, but this one, I showed the guy that, and I asked him. He asked me if I knew what to do with it. So I showed him on my own leg, and he goes, Don't you ever show anybody what you're doing. I looked at him and I said, why? Am I doing it wrong? He goes, absolutely not. He says, but you will put me out of business. And I've had the same comment from other people in other industries. Okay, when we look at reclaiming power over your life, the important factor is taking a look at the whole picture and going, what works for me? Have you, curiosity, LA, have you managed to get the nerves to regenerate yet? Just a curiosity thing, because there is a neat little thing that you can do to actually regenerate the nerve damage in the neck, depending on where it is. One of the things you got to remember where it comes to nerve damage is we're told that nerves don't repair themselves. You're being misled. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. You're being misled. Nice. Yeah, Ellie goes, went to a lovely Korean doctor who specialized in acupuncture, and the nerves were fixed up on the spot. That's the neat part about it. See, what most people don't realize is every cell in your body, yes, they're designed for one purpose, but every one of them can be reprogrammed to handle a different set of information. So when you're looking at, now, I do caution you, when you're looking at acupuncture, okay, you gotta be careful with it. And this is why it's imperative you find somebody that is well trained. Okay, because it's not just a hit and miss thing. Now, when I go into, now, I am working very directly with the Ilderbachtian Chronicles, okay, and getting that series as well as the Race of the Worlds. I am literally working on getting them racked off and out into print immediately. I didn't get into the ISBNs yet there, Storm, but I will do that this weekend because I've got to get them up and running. Storm now has ready to go to print the PDF versions of the other books I've got, meaning they're all going to be available on Buy Me a Coffee. Okay. Well, now we also are going to be looking at under the aliens. We're going to be looking at non-human species and organizations and technologies will all fit in that. It was funny. I was shown a piece of information stating that scientists now have finally discovered that sound has mass. And again, this boils down to push your mind as far as you can. Okay, preferably not so far as snaps, like I'm pretty certain mine did on occasion. I know that, LA goes, I actually understood what he was singing. He was singing in Korean. But in LA's case, I can tell you from practical experience, that's not really that big of a shock. Sound, light, smell, all have mass. People don't seem to get this. But apparently the doctors are slowly coming around. Where is it? Now, I am going to be looking at that, and then we have this neat little idea. I have an entire section right now. It's 7 months in the making, okay, as to how to get yourself back on track to become the success you desire to be. And I do strongly encourage you, If you see something wrong with the world, you focus and become the change you desire to see happen. I've got to be careful. As a matter of fact, I better slow things down. I wish I had an EM meter, because I'm pretty certain that when my energy climbs too high, it fries circuits and interrupts the Wi-Fi. Really fun. Buddy of mine, he can't even be seen by modern tech. He just bounces right off them and they never see him. Then we have this neat little section on the step-by-step growth of what I am doing with Inner Voice, why I'm doing it, and exactly what opportunities I'm intending on providing for other people. Okay, when we move, now again, for me it's simple. I'm trapped on this world, quite seriously, trapped. I committed to being on this world as long as Esau required me. Esau, now you know her as Mother Earth, Gaia, Earth, Mother Nature. She told me eons ago that her name is Esau. Okay, that's why I call her that. It's because it's what she called herself. It's like, what's your name? My name's Bob. Okay, Bob, we'll call you Bob. This is Esau. Okay. Now, when we start looking at economics, we are going to be looking at language. And you will find I've got right now 7 or 8, 2, 4, 6, 8 different words that across the board, any language I've ever heard, that I've ever come across, these 8 words I've already identified are very self-deprecating. So I am covering what they are replaced with, and then once a month I'll highlight one of them and tell you why it works the way it does. Because what I found is that the more you understand about why things happen, the more readily you're going to be able to guide which way they go. Now again, I'm not telling you trust everything I'm telling you. I'm telling you take what I'm telling you, and I'm asking you to do your own research. Okay, we are going to be looking at hospitality as a skill. How hospitality in any industry, in any social interaction, can work to your benefit. But it's a question of you're not taught these things anymore. Okay, now understanding, in the years I've been consulting, I started, if you will, as an amateur when I was 10. By the time I was 23, I was making money at it. As in, I became a professional. Okay. I ended up starting to charge. Now I've been paid as much as $2,600 a month, or $2,600 an hour for what I do. I'm putting it on the block at $20 for 15 minutes. Okay, now before you go down there, this is a question of why charge that little? Well, because the people that require it do not have $1,000 for an hour's work. Okay. Besides that, I figure if I can give you the tools and you can get on board with it, we're in good shape. This is why Positive Perceptions, this podcast, I don't know if we call this a podcast, live stream, or if there's some other title for it, but it will remain free, as will the magazine. Okay. When I talk about charity work, all of the administration from that will be covered by my company. It's just that simple for me. To me, it doesn't take a lot of thinking to figure it out. Now, I'm also going to be looking at the four P's of civilization: parenting, pedagogical, or pedagogal, I think is actually the word. I'll have to double check that and correct the spelling if that's the case. political, and the priesthood. These are 4 critical components of making a community of more than just a family unit work. In all fairness, even in just a family unit, these 4 aspects are still necessary. Okay. And then we go into, that'll be a parting thought. Right at the back end of the whole magazine is a catalog. Okay. And again, there will be hot links in the magazine because it's only coming out in email. Oh, where are we here? Okay. Oh, what do we got? Oh, there we go. Lizzie's going, I asked AI. I'm hoping that's a typo, but it reads, I asked AI, Egon, a question of an astral projection, and it suggested to have a meter around. Well, I thought about having a meter, but I mean, I watch the computers around me, and they have a coronary. You know, I think that's what happened during our. Oh, there we go. LA goes. It's called a live stream. Oh, okay. Thank you very much, there, LA. Oh, I'm not sure. I appreciate that. LA goes. Your title is personality or an influencer. Well, I definitely have a personality. It's not a great one, but I work with it. As far as an influencer goes, time will tell. Right now, we've got 671 subscribers. I have every intention on driving that up, but I do require and do desire assistance from you guys to spread the word. This idea of sitting back and waiting for our governments to come out and say, hey, we've got changes that are happening. And, you know the saying, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. Red lights go off all over the place when that happens. Oh, that's why. Thank you for the clarification there, Lizzie. Egon from the Ghostbusters, so it wasn't a misspelling. It just happens to be Egon. Okay. And I believe, no, that was Spangly there. But, I did enjoy, I've watched every one of the Ghostbusters movies. Okay. And if they come out with another one, I'll probably watch that one too, just on principle. The thing is, one of the biggest drives that I've got is learn. But I do not learn by reading what other people have done. Okay. I learn by talking to people about what they've done, and then the information comes clear. This is why, while I am putting the magazine together, I am in the process. Where are we here? Go back up into that, and we have those are catalogs. We have a book on. I've got a little booklet. I don't know whether it's going to be a booklet of its own. I'm still looking for 4 more words. I've got 8 that are extremely debilitating. I know there are 4 others that I haven't identified yet, but hopefully I will in the next little while. But I am looking at this neat little booklet, one of the Believe in You series, Believe in Your Success and Follow Your Dreams. These tools I'm listing here over the next 8 months will be included in, which gives you an idea how long it'll be before the booklet comes out. Then I've also got the one on enhanced chakras. Scroll all the way up. Numerology, the enhanced chakras. These are other booklets I'm working on concurrently, and they are being racked off as we go. Where are we now? Let's minimize that for a minute. You know, one of the important factors from my standpoint is real simple. If I don't get this information out, when I die, it goes with me. Okay? So I'm getting as much of it written out as I can, and hopefully something will come of that. Because what I have discovered is this: the number of people that do not realize their own potential, they've been beaten to a pulp inside their own homes, inside their own family social groups, and it's just been bizarre. Yeah, and LA, I've gone down to visit LA and Storm. As a matter of fact, I've taken my last two girlfriends I took down, but I won't be ever bringing them another girlfriend. Okay, won't ever bring another girlfriend down for them to meet, because frankly, I'm engaged, and that's going to end up. I'm going to lose my fiance sooner or later. She's going to end up being my wife. The funny thing is, and I can honestly say this, I don't say it about many people, but LA and Storm simply took the way I was and went, okay, you might be a little off kilter, but there's something there. Okay. The funny part about it is the information I'm sitting on, I still question where it comes from. And I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out if I've actually lost my mind. But I was told years ago, and this is something to take to heart. I asked somebody years ago, I asked my mentor, when how do you know if you're losing your mind? He looks at me and he goes, that's easy. If you're questioning, are you losing your mind? The answer is no. Okay, because if you were losing your mind, you wouldn't notice it. Now, my own parents, he said, my dad on his deathbed and my mom at his bedside, okay, at the same time, both told me that all of my memories, past life, psychic phenomenon, otherworldly experiences, including the abductions, psychic phenomenon, all of these, they told me, are absolutely real. Now, that's all I got to go on. Okay, I can argue the point, I can deny the point. You can deny whether or not you've got information. Okay, you can deny your instincts if you'd like. But let me ask you this. How many of you, when you turn around and deny your instincts, find when you look back at it that you probably should have listened? I know that little voice in my head that most people have that says, oh, you shouldn't say that. I've got a little voice in my head that goes, oops, should not have said that. Probably should have thought that one through. Okay, the one thing I have found with the knowledge I'm sitting on is that it comes clear when people ask questions. This is why I ask people, why I invite people to put the questions out there, because it triggers something. I don't fully understand it myself, but I know it works that way. But that is not what I need. I require that. Now, I do have another one of the booklets I'm working on. Again, is the anatomy of a house, of a home or business. Again, this is a small booklet, so I don't know how it'll come about. Okay. But this is what happens because everything is connected. And this is why I've asked if you guys have a topic that you desire to look into, ask and we'll see what we can do. Okay, because it's the stuff you're missing. That's what I'm packing around with me. I just may not know I've got it. So this is why we're working so hard to get things out. Now, as the money starts to turn, I'm already starting to put a list together of different t-shirts and or coffee cups. Coffee cups will be a problem. Okay, T-shirts, I will be bringing out T-shirts and sweatshirts, that sort of thing. I will be bringing out down the road. I'm already putting the different sayings together and different mantras, that sort of thing. The reality is, I desire the best of the best. It's that simple. Well, that is true, LA. It's funny, when I first met, no, not when I first met, but one of the lifetimes I met with LA. And in all fairness, with a lot of the people I connected with this lifetime, many of them I actually burned at the stake. It was wonderful. I get to burn them, then come back later and end up being friends. I ended up becoming really good friends with another young lass that I barbecued. And, as it turned out, this lifetime I taught her how to do things a little bit more effectively. One of the biggest things I'm looking at is how do I get all this information down and still generate income with it. Okay, because as of February 24th, well, as of February 28th, I found out on February 24th of this year, the one contract that I had, the company closed. Okay, which means now I either have to rely on the government and retirement funding and what have you, which is not great, or I've got to make make Inner Voice itself stand up and be noticed. That means the consulting, the different books, and I know I'm missing somebody. I gotta go back into it afterwards. Somebody fortunately just recently bought a copy of Races of the World. The unfortunate part is I don't have an address to send it. Okay, so I will get that notification out, and I'll probably post it on Facebook because I don't have a contact number for them. Okay, and I will simply point out that I cannot do it by name because I'm not about to tell people this is what these people are buying. So it will be a question of, if you recently purchased a copy of Races of the World, okay, from me through the Buy Me a Coffee link, absolutely drop me a line because frankly, I don't have an address to send it to. Which, by the way, makes it really difficult to ship it. So that's where that is. And no. Got to talk to her about that. So I am now looking at that aspect of it as well. The thing with reclaiming power over your life is you've got to decide what you're content with. Lizzie goes, I had a tarot reading about my hubs and mine past lives. He said my hubs was an executioner in a past life, and I like to joke he killed me as a witch, but he fell in love with me and I razed him. The neat part there is there's nothing wrong with witchcraft. Okay? And anybody that tells you there is simply doesn't understand what they're doing. Now, I will tell you, I've got a friend who made a mispronunciation of one syllable of one word. Now, her daughter at the time was only a year old. Okay? She made one mispronunciation of one syllable, and she she gutted her entire apartment. But the apartments on either side, above and below, never got smoke damage at all. This is witchcraft at its finest. Okay. Well, first rule of thumb, Lizzie, the way I look at it, if you feel somebody is from a past life, hang on to that thought, but wait for, look for and wait for corroboration. Okay. I ran into an ex-girlfriend of mine. Okay. And she recognized me before I recognized her. But much like what happened with me and a couple of other people, she started laying out a dream. And I filled in the dream for her. Well, net result, turned out she was happily married. But I met her husband. Her husband was the one that invited us together and invited us to dinner. And here's the kicker. As you become more comfortable with you, okay, you will find your energy levels climb, your sense of self climbs as you remove the clutter. And this is a critical component. Get the clutter, get the disorganization out of your life. Okay, the reason being, the more organized it is, oh, okay, perfect. I will double check that, Storm, because I've got to get them out. Well, I won't be able to get them out tomorrow, but I will be able to get them out on Monday. But I appreciate that, Storm. Where are we here? Yeah, I'll take a look at those tonight. I can't do anything because tomorrow the post office is closed, so that makes it pretty much hoop, but I can prep them to go. When I talk about everything being connected, I talked for the longest time about upgrading my wardrobe. Well, I did upgrade my wardrobe. I now have a wonderful piece of wardrobe edition, hangs on my arm when she's here. Okay. And as I've told her, as I told Kira, I don't mind if other people stare at her. As a matter of fact, they want to stare at her while she's hanging onto my arm and they want to walk into a wall. Have a happy. Oh, nice, Lizzie. It's always nice. It's always nice. Well, almost always nice finding a mentor that you can connect with. I've run into some addresses. Oh, there we go. Oh, thanks, Storm. I do appreciate that. Because I've got the books, obviously. They're still in stock. And like I said, I've got to get these things moved. Yeah. Yeah. Lizzie goes, she called me a magic adept because I just think and manifest. Thanks so much, Storm. I appreciate that. I tell you, I'm stuck in a world here where technology has far outstripped what I'm functionally capable of working with. Okay. I am doing my best to bring myself up to speed. I actually managed to get a hold of my power company and get things turned around so it's now on equal payment. I have now finally, 20 years after they went to paperless billing, I finally am on paperless billing on all of my utilities. But the more comfortable you get with you, not necessarily with the world, with you, the more successful you're going to be. Now, I will tell you this. If you had a goal for yourself, okay, let's say, for instance, like one lady I knew, she came to me, she was 52 years old. And she had said she really was unhappy. She had always desired to become an MD. And so I worked with her for about a year. She enrolled at 53 in the medical field, okay, in her medical doctorate. It took her till she was 60. And like I warned her, you can do it. Absolutely. Whatever you set to mind, you can do it. Okay. Well, she got her MD, and I just warned her. I said, you won't be a full doctor for very long before the recommended retirement age, but go after it. At 60 years old, she locked down her MD. She got her moniker. Okay. And it is such a difficult, like, I'm just looking at this. Lizzie's going, yeah, taught me to try and keep positive thoughts. You know, all the positive thinking in the world, and this sounds really bad coming from me, with no action, all the positive thinking in the world is absolutely pointless. Okay. Well, not absolutely. That might be one of the words. Yep. Told you there are 12 words I know of that are self-deprecating. I just do it like that. There it is. I've got 8 of them already listed. I just figured out the 9th. Because quite frankly, there is no actual term. There's no actual rendition of absolute. Okay. There are variations, and it always there is almost always a variation. So these 9 words now will be coming out in in positive perspectives over the next 9 months, and I'm going to elaborate on all of them, and then eventually put them all into one book or one booklet. LA goes, some things can just show up, but action is key to manifesting. Activation. Absolutely. The fact of the matter is this. You can pray for whatever you'd like. Okay. You can have all the positive thoughts and positive affirmations you'd like. Oh, there we go. Lizzie goes, I thought, oh, I'm so overworked. They'd have to give me time off if I had a small accident. Then a few days later, hit a red light. Oh, later, hit at a red light. Hopefully you weren't badly damaged. You know, I mean, I got rear-ended. I was driving in GLC one day, and I saw the Caprice coming up behind me. I just relaxed, put my hand against the back of the headrest, and got catapulted 50 yards through the car, through the intersection. It was great. I walked out of it without so much as a whiplash. Yeah. See, the more we understand about all aspects, and this is why I look at numerology, astrology, reflexology, all of these things. Okay. And this is why I talk to so many different people. But the reality of it is, there are things that go bump in the night that will help us. And there's things that go bump in the night that won't help us. But all things are connected. Blue Cruz, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And we have Woo Rider as well. How you doing? Yeah, we are. It's right now, before I run completely out of time, okay, one of the things that we got to look at, let me get that out of the way. I got to take a look at my calendar. Now, I know I've already told Storm, told Elaine and Storm and everybody yesterday. Oh, yeah, we ended up with an extra edition. Tomorrow, we are going to be looking at why, pray tell, there, right down? Oh, that's why. Okay. tomorrow, I think tomorrow, but I'll actually talk to Storm about this afterwards. But some of the topics that are coming up, and you'll have to watch for them. But tomorrow I'm going to go through a God's solution to the current chaos on Earth, the way they look at the solution and the problem. Then we're going to look at the way the off-worlders do and the way the ancient races do. Okay, now, I also have just come across a topic that I kind of overlooked, which is, where'd my eyeballs go? Why did I do that? Which is near-death experiences. What can you learn from them? Okay. Because, I gave up on the near-death. I go straight for the throat and go right into dead, which is a really neat way of doing things. Does take all the fear out of the picture. One of the things that we got to look at, okay, is the more you understand about you, the better off you are at attaining the goals you desire to attain. This is why we're pushing this direction and going, okay, where do we go from here? So, in a nutshell, by tomorrow, because I'm going to touch on this again just on principle, but start looking at what you're not content with in your life. Identify where you're standing and what you're aiming for. What goals do you have? Maybe they're a dream from your childhood. Maybe you desire to be a violinist. Okay, I don't like the level I know of the tone it hits when it's that close to my ear. But now, yes. Oh, there we go. LA Moon goes, the Oracle of Delphi goes, know thyself. Wonder if that's where you got it. A good friend of mine coined the phrase, to know oneself is to know all. Okay, I'm wondering if that may have been where he got it, because he is well-traveled. But it's very much the case. If you understand what makes you tick, what you're happy with, and what you can work with, you're going to be able to reclaim power over your life, and nobody is going to be able to take that from you. Although I will caution you, follow the written law. Because I don't know about you, but I don't do the vertical bar scene well. Okay, but it is time, effective today, effective now, to reclaim power over your life. So let's say we all get working on it together, and thereby us, the individuals, get to show the leaders what they should be doing. What civilization requires from them. Not this idea of they require more. We can continue living on the edge of nothing. Okay, these are just some of the things we got to look at. But we are going to be looking at the different ways of curing this chaos. Right now, you've got the cure in your hand. Reclaim power over your life and show the people around you. Absolutely invite them here. And we'll show them together how to reclaim power over their lives. In that way, this civilization can be put back on track. Okay, now, I do want to take this moment to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with us tonight. Really appreciate it. We will be back again tomorrow. Okay, but until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.